scary things we don't understand, our minds try to fill in the blanks. Sometimes the best thing to do is to face it. So this light is going to be completely solid like it is right now. Then gradually, it's going to start flashing until it's totally dark. So you can see that there's nothing to be afraid of. Okay? See? That's not so scary, is it? Just you, your sister, and me.
You're doing okay. It's not real. It's okay. It's okay. It's all just in your head.
Katie, there's something in my room. You believe me, don't you?
There's no such thing as monsters. You need to grow up. I'm serious, Sawyer. I need to be alone.
You're both having these manifestations. What is this supposed to be?
It's the thing that comes for your kids when you're not paying attention.
Dad, you have to listen to me.
Okay. I'm listening. Sweetheart, let me handle it.
I think I was a little bit hesitant at first with the audition because I really felt like I don't want to play another damsel in distress. I feel like I've done a lot of that role of the little girl that has to be saved, you know. As much as like some of my other characters were strong-willed characters, they were always being saved. And I was like, I don't want to be that anymore. I want to be able to be either the bad guy or someone who actually, I feel like, has is courageous enough to hold the movie and hold up such important scenes. And when I really like fully read the script of the Boogeyman, I was like, Sawyer is this. She is not a damsel in distress. From the first few scenes, you see her as this scared little girl, but as you see her progress, she is a strong soul that is just trying to help her family, and nobody believes her. And it's just so terrifying to think that you're facing this kind of entity on your own because nobody believes you for it. And she is just an incredibly strong character, and I immediately was pulled to Sawyer. And she is just, I mean, a wonderful character that I really enjoyed playing.
I mean, anything Stephen King, he's the absolute horror king. I think my first session with Rob, I realized that he was very passionate about it, and he was going to make a naturalistic, grounded movie. And I felt similarly. Like, I've done Yellow Jackets and I've done a lot of genre-y stuff, and I don't want to be, you know, your fear is to be put into a box. But this, I could tell, was going to be different, and it was going to be special, and it was going to be, at the core of it, about a family and their complicated dynamics.
Well, I think I want to be like Sawyer because she is just an amazing little girl, and I think I try and relate to her as much as I can. I think there are some differences, just like simple differences, like I'm homeschooled and Sawyer goes to public school kind of thing. But like I think deep down we're really similar characters, and I think it's really cool that I get to play characters that I relate to so easily a lot.
I think for me, Sadie felt kind of like how I felt in high school. I definitely felt very outcast and isolated, but that's just such a natural feeling for anyone in high school. She's in such a specific stage of her life right now with the grieving, so I can't relate to that. But I can relate to her just using music as an outlet, isolating herself and turning to music instead. Those are all things that I was doing in high school. But I admire her resilience and how strong she is, but I think we're pretty different.
I think I'm more of a horror game person. Like, I like playing horror games and like learning about the lore to it and stuff, but
So cool.
I don't watch a lot of horror movies. I did 3 as like my step into horror, which was The Witches, Roald Dahl's The Witches, the 2020 version.
I haven't seen that version.
Yeah,
How did
it's
you do that
terrifying.
to play him out?
But yeah, and then I also watched The Mummy and I watched The Sixth Sense. So those were kind of my step into watching horror movies. And yeah, so it was the Anne Hathaway one that I watched.
Nice.
That one's terrifying. She gets her
Really?
hands cut off by
You should
a
watch
giant
the original
spinning
too.
air
That's what I
conditioner.
grew up with. For me, I love horror movies. I'm obsessed with zombie movies. I was obsessed with 28 Days Later when I was younger. Pan's Labyrinth. The Audition. I learned that the theme song on piano and just knew it was the most like messed up movie of all time. Japanese horror is on another level. Yeah, I've always loved horror. I love anything really genre-y.
Well, I think scared is the emotion I struggle most with on camera. Like, I can get to sad pretty easily. Happy just comes naturally. Angry I can get to pretty easily. But scared is, I think, what I struggle most with getting to. And
You did it really well in this movie.
I struggled with this one, but I ended up learning this trick that I actually picked up on Obi-Wan. I did this thing with this woman. We don't call her an acting coach because that's not what she is. She doesn't run lines with me or anything. We like to call her an acting therapist.
Oh, I love that.
She's basically, she taught me tricks on how to not get myself damaged by what the character's
So
feeling.
important. So important.
And so she taught me how to do this thing with colors to put on like the character and not feel what you're actually feeling, what the character's feeling. And it was just really helpful, and it got me through a lot of it, and it was just really awesome.
I think for me, it's just about being connected with my breath and in tune with my body and very in tune with my breath. Jumping up and down before takes, as simple as that.
Yes.
It like gets the breathing right. Just as long as you're in tune with your breathing, I think that's kind of, for me, the core of a lot of my emotions. And a lot of the terror. So that was something that I was kind of hyper fixated on. I feel like I always do playlists for any project that I work on. I feel like most of it was pretty depressing because she's in a pretty
A lot of
depressed
emo
point.
music.
A lot of, we bonded over our... you like emo music too?
Yeah, it's true. I made a playlist as well. I also wrote a journal. I like to write.
That's genius.
I like to
love
write
that.
journals in the voice of my character and bring in.
It
And what
was
was
so well written.
really awesome was I showed it to Rob, and what actually happened was in this journal that I wrote as like extra, I had these red headphones that I had gotten, and if you see in our hallway scene, the red headphones are sitting there on a desk, and he had actually shown it to set deck, and nobody knows it but me, because like me and him know like this little Easter egg that
That's
was
amazing.
actually in my journal. And then just recently I actually redid it as I added an extra paragraph, which was like an entry from a year later. And like I added some things in my current life, like Sawyer gets a cat and Sawyer gets a bearded dragon, and the cat sits on the side closer to the closet of her bed. They moved into a new house and like all of that kind of thing. And it's kind of like a little epilogue that I wrote, and I sent it to Rob, and it's like in a different font and everything, like less loopy lettering, and she even calls back to it and is like, the loopy lettering was so stupid, no wonder I couldn't write as much. It was really cool.